Hi guys, my name is Veronica and today I'm going to be talking about some of my biggest fictional OTPs. Now today is the day after Valentine's Day, so I figured I guess I should do a video related to love and all that crap that's supposedly floating around in the air outside. So I haven't left my house in 2 days because I don't want to catch any of that like love stuff, you know. So I'm just going to give you a list of some of my favorite OTPs. Of course, I have tons and tons and tons, and I could go on for hours in this video, but I'm not going to. I will spare you. So in order to keep this list trimmed down a little bit, I only picked couples that I really, really loved, and if there's several couples in a book that I like or in a series that I like, I only picked one, except for one series. There is one exception to that, but I'll get to that later, obviously. The first couple on this list is Jack and Schuyler from the Blue Blood series by Melissa De La Cruz. And Jack and Schuyler are a very, very good example of forbidden love. Jack has fallen in love with Schuyler, which is not okay because there's all sorts of consequences. I love them. I don't plan on ever finishing this series, but if I did, the only reason I would ever finish it was just to get closure on their relationship. Next we have Hazel and Frank from the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. And I know Hazel and Frank are not in this book, but this is the only book I own in the series. One thing I love about Hazel and Frank is that they're both very timid characters. They both have plenty of reasons to never fall in love, and they both have plenty of reasons to avoid a relationship. But it's like they can't resist each other. They can't avoid the fact that they really love each other. And it's just a really sweet relationship because they are both such timid and precious little characters. The series is the Bloodlines series by Rochelle Mead. But my couple is not Adrian and Sydney, although I do like them. My couple is Jill and Eddie. I've read the first 3 books, so there's 2 out that I haven't read yet. So I don't know anything about Jill and Eddie in the future. But I will say that I really, 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 really want them to be together, and I would be very excited if they got together because Eddie is such a great character, has always been such a great character, just a great guy in general, and every girl deserves somebody like Eddie. Next, I have Jeremy and Lexie from the True Believer duology by Nicholas Sparks. What I love about this is kind of that shaping aspect that I talked about earlier because Jeremy is kind of this uptown New York, really classy, really into himself kind of guy. And Lexie is a strong, independent woman who knows that she does not need a man. And so she's not willing to just go along with Jeremy and be his little puppy. She stands up for herself, and he starts to change his way because he loves Lexie so much, and he's so willing to do everything for her. Next, I have DJ and Brian from the Dairy Queen trilogy by Catherine Gilbert Murdoch. I will say that in the second book, Brian was a detestable character, and I hated him so much. But in the first book, and especially the third book, Brian is just a really wonderful character. DJ, who works on her family's farm and plays football. She is the definition of tomboy, and she's so good at football that she actually starts to train Brian, who is the quarterback for a rival team. They both think that they're going to hate each other, and they try to hate each other. They try so hard, but they're very unsuccessful, and I'm glad that they're unsuccessful because they're really, really precious together. Next I have Katie and Alex from Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. I love Katie and Alex because first off, they're just really, really cute together. But secondly, Katie meets Alex while she's running away from her husband who abuses her. And so she's in a really rough point in her life because she's afraid of men. She's so unwilling to fall for somebody and does not allow herself to love. But Alex is so crazy about her, and he just keeps trying and keeps trying and keeps trying. And in the meantime, even if she's not letting him in and giving him the love that he wants from her, he's still there to care for her just as a person. Next is Ed and Min from Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. And as you can tell by the title, Ed and Min are not together, which breaks my heart because throughout the book it shows their relationship building up and then breaking down. And the build-up is just so phenomenal because it's another thing where Ed has just been shaped into this new person because of Min. It's such a wonderful person, and I love that they went through that transformation together. Next, I have Anna and Jack from Letting Anna Go by Anonymous, and I don't have a whole lot to say about this couple except that Jack is one of the best boyfriends of all time. He was a phenomenally written character, just such a great guy who is helping his girlfriend as she's battling with anorexia. And I think it's so realistically written because he doesn't have all the answers. He knows he doesn't understand, and he tells her that, but he's there for her anyway, and he supports her through everything. And I think it shows how it really does feel to be a friend of somebody that's dealing with anorexia. Next, I have Chloe and Derek from the Darkest Powers trilogy by Kelly Armstrong. And I read this several years ago, so I don't remember a whole lot about it. But I do remember really, really being in love with Chloe and Derek. And I remember that it was another one of those where they didn't want to admit that they were in love with each other. And Derek was really kind of opposed and just scared of the idea of love. But they broke through that fear, and it's just cute, and they're just cute. Triss and Four from the Divergent trilogy by Veronica Roth. I've not read the third book, probably never will. Not a huge fan of Triss and Four in the second one, but I really love Divergent Triss and Four. I think a lot of the reason that they're not as, like, I don't ship them as hard as I used to is because Shailene Woodley plays Triss in the movies, and I really, really a lot hate Shailene Woodley, and so I think that bias towards her has kind of changed my opinion on the couple themselves because I've seen the movie more recently than I read the book. So I probably should reread the book sometime soon, just to bring that love back into my heart. But I really do love their relationship because they're both really hard characters, and they act so fearless, but they're both scared to death of love. Yet somehow, boom, it happens. And next I have Anna and St. Clair from Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. But I love that they got past all of the crap that was in their way, and there were some bad decisions. There was some stupid things that they both did, but they got over it, and they are just so in love with each other. I mean, it has no bounds. I have Skye and Laurel from Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLaria, but in the end, they're what the other person needs. Laurel can't open up to anybody else like she can to Skye, and Skye can't love anybody else except Laurel. So I have Thorne and Cress from the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I know neither Thorne nor Cress is in this book, but this is the only one I have. Thorne and Cress are my favorite, again, because Thorne is not the kind of guy that you could ever see being in love with somebody. Like, everything you know about Thorne, his humor, his inability to be serious, his playfulness, it all kind of disappears, and he just becomes this man who's just so in love that he doesn't even know what to do, and he doesn't know how to handle love, and he's confused by it, but he's pursuing it despite the confusion because he just cares so much about Cress. Next is Eleanor and Park from Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and I just love Eleanor and Park because they are the definition of opposites attract. They are totally different people, yet somehow they come together and realize that they're just absolutely crazy about each other, and they're totally meant to be together, and they sacrifice so much for each other, both of them. Is Katniss and Peeta from the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins, and if you've heard me talk about this trilogy before, you might know that I was originally Team Gale the first time I read it, but the second time that I read it, I realized that Peeta is the dream boyfriend. He is everything that any girl has ever wanted in a guy, let's be honest. He's sweet, and he never, ever, ever gives up. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but Mockingjay, holy cow. Do you realize what he goes through for Katniss? Do you realize? Holy crap. He gives up everything. He goes to hell and back for this girl because he's so crazy in love with her, and oh my goodness. You guess because of the specific book that I'm holding up? No, of course it's not Ron and Hermione. Why would I be holding up this one? Harry and Ginny. Oh my gosh, you guys. Harry and Ginny. I feel like their relationship is so appealing to me because Ginny is like me, and she's a fangirl. she starts out and she like sees Harry in a room and she's like, which is ultimate fangirl status. And then here we are, and they're just so cute together too, because the way that Harry starts to fall for Ginny is just so real and true and so cute. And I don't know, man. And for all of you, and even J.K. Rowling, Joe, if you are watching this, all that bullcrap about Harry and Hermione were supposed to be together, that is the biggest load of bull hockey that I have ever heard in my whole entire life, okay? Because that's just LOL worthy. That's not even, actually it's not funny at all. Because Harry and Ginny are made for each other, and Ron and Hermione are made for each other, and Harry and Hermione are just best friends. They are the perfect example of best friends. It's all it is, all it ever will be. Your opinions are invalid. I just told the author of her own book that her opinion was invalid. So here we are with the series that I put 2 couples in from, and that's because I'm currently reading this series, and so I think that's why I could not decide between them. And that series is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. First I have Blue and Gansey, because even more so than Jack and Schuyler, Blue and Gansey are the definition of forbidden love. Because they can't be together, and they both know it, and they both don't allow themselves to really do anything about it, but they feel such strong feelings, and they'll occasionally give you like 2 seconds of acting on it, and you're like, yes, and then they go, then it stops, and I'm really emotionally invested in this book right now. It's Ronan and Adam. Guys, it's so rare to find a gay couple in a book that's not specifically like LGBT fiction. The favorite thing about it is that it's normal. They don't act like it's some big deal. She doesn't write it in like being gay is something that is anything other than normal. And I really, really like that aspect. But, man, it's more than that. I mean, of course I like the way that it's written in and stuff, but Ronan and Adam are just... I can't put it into words. This is the first couple that I can't even put it into words. I want them to be together so bad. So bad. Okay, here we are. And my last 2 are totally tied for my biggest OTPs ever because I can't decide between them. First, we have Dimitri and Rose from Vampire Academy, who this couple was probably my first OTP. Obviously, I read other books before where I liked the couples, but this was the first couple where I really started feeling the feels, and I wanted them to be together so bad that sometimes I would like physically be in pain. Actually, that happens to me all the time now, but this was the first time that happened to me. I was like physically hurting because I wanted them to be together so bad. They're just so incredibly perfect for each other. The other one is very similar. I have Rob and Jess from Vanished series by Meg Cabot. I talk about Rob and Jess all the time. I know probably none of you have read this series. Do it because you will fall in love with this couple. They cannot be together. It's just, it shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing, and they can't deny it, and they can't stay away from each other. And I need to read the last book like right this second because I need to make sure that they stay together. Because I think at the end of the 4th one, things were a little rocky, and I'm like, no, you can't be rocky because you are everything to me. Okay, I'm sorry that this video is probably 10 years long, but I have a lot of things to say, and I could have said so much more. You don't understand how long this video could have been. I would love, 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 love to hear about your OTPs. I can talk about OTPs and shipping all day long because I am a fangirl. And tell me if you would be interested in me doing maybe a like TV show / movie OTP video. Alright, that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye!